This is how JTX Forge handled the improper wheel fitment issue that we ran into with Convict now about a month ago. But before we get into that, guys, I just have to let you know we are welcoming 10 times entries for Dream Diesel giveaway number 18, aka our 2020 F450 Platinum that's wrapped 1 of 1, gloss army green, and $30,000 cash. So if you guys want to get entered for this monstrosity of a vehicle that turns pretty much every single head that you pass by and a stack of cash that's oh so fat, you might want to visit Enthusiast and explore getting entered, my friends, because one of you is going to be coming to Lancaster County to take the keys, the title, and the cash for that trick right there in July. So today is a video that I've been waiting to make for a very long time, and that is all about the issues that we ran into removing those wheels off of Convict, aka my other 2020 F450 Platinum. Yes, we have two F450 Platinums, and they are very much opposites of one another because Convict hasn't really been going anywhere anytime soon. But I'm happy to say that in today's video, we will be getting Convict back on the road on a brand spanking new tire setup that you guys are not gonna want to miss. If you didn't catch that video, we ran into some serious problems where this wheel was stuck on the truck and ended up looking like this. If you didn't catch that video, I will put it up to the right-hand corner so you guys can go check it out after this one. But short of the long here was this inside bore was actually too tight and made contact with the hub of the rear axle. So in turn, we had to get very vicious and violent in our removal attempt. We got the wheel off, but it happened to ruin the wheel. That was a contact point of a sledgehammer. That was a contact point. 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 And these scratches are actually from a pry bar that we had to wedge in between the hub assembly and the wheel itself to physically pry the wheel off. We didn't only have to do it for that wheel, we also had to do it for that wheel, but we had refined our process some. That wheel is still very much still compromised. It was kind of a two-part situation. One part being my impatience, two-part being a small little process change that JTX had to make with their manufacturing process. Just to recap, so nobody's making any false assumptions, this scenario was identified when I had immediately received the wheels from JTX Forge some time ago. To the tune of what, Jake? 3 months ago now? Maybe 4 months ago? I can't keep track. Time is flying by, which is a good thing, rather being busy than bored. But that was part one, and then part two was my impatience. I had waited 3 months for these wheels to arrive, as well as the lift kit for Convict. They had both arrived the same week, and it felt like it was meant to be. I wanted to get the setup together on that truck in the worst way to see it transform into the oh so aggressive Convict that we've all grown to love. And as part of my impatience, I put the wheels on and I somewhat ran them on, knowing that one day I'd have to remove them and it would be quite a nightmare. But at that time, I had reached out to JTX Forged, informing them of what I had experienced with the wheels, and they said they were making some process changes and they really appreciated the feedback. I had then made the video where we were using my skid steer, my SVL 90 11,200 pound skid steer, to physically pull the wheels off, which they couldn't, so we had to get a sledgehammer and kind of do it a little bit of a different way with some more finesse. Yeah, we'll go with that. And we got them removed, and then I had gotten in touch with JTX Forged, and that brings us to this morning.
A nice early trip over to E-Town Auto Works is always a great way to get the day started. We got 8-ball loaded down with a bunch of things back here, as I'm sure you can see. Gotta get that over to E-Town so they can get to work on it. And then we got some other things lined up later today that could be pretty fun. Alright guys, we had to make a quick pit stop and get some life juice there.
Brings us to now. Convict on some jack stands, chilling with one dually wheel in the rear. You guys might ask why I need a new pole building or a new shop space. Well, this is kind of part of the reason why. We can only really service one truck at one time because we have one service bay. We do have storage, but it's not really usable working room. And I have a few trucks, and it's not even all of them right here. Spoiler alert, my friends, we have a new truck that will be arriving to the channel here very, very soon. I want you guys to stay tuned for future uploads. I think you're gonna be very excited for what's in store. I've never had one of these on my channel ever in the history of all the trucks that I've owned. It's gonna be a big day. So in the back of this beautiful truck that you can win here with $30,000 cash, it's holding the 38 13.5 24s off of Convict. And in the back of 8-ball, aka the truck that's gonna drag Gabe Farrell through the mud and back by bus lengths are the new tires mounted up on the 2 new wheels of the 4 existing wheels that are gonna be going on Convict. We slightly downsized to a 37-13-5-24, but rather than a trail grappler, we've got a ridge grappler, mostly because I fell in love with the set that's on Sarge right now that was originally on Convict. Yes, we really have quite the tire exchange going on here on the channel. Would you guys just look at that dual king coilover reservoir combination? This setup is oh so beautiful. I cannot wait to put it back in play. Yes, if you guys caught that, JTX was awesome to deal with, and they totally understood some of the challenges that we were dealing with here on the channel. They were cool with us sharing that, and I decided to share it because I thought it told an unbelievable story. And as an entrepreneur, I think customer service is quite the important category of a business's strategy. And I really have to give credit to JTX for helping us out here on the channel. They sent us not 1, but 2 new wheels because of the challenges that we dealt with originally and my impatience. But I really have to say that out of all the wheel manufacturers that I've ever worked with, which is a majority of them, and this isn't to undermine any, I'm just calling it as I see it, JTX's customer service is bar none. JTX, I really have to say thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, it's time to get Convict back on the road. I very much feel like I'm dreaming right now behind the wheel of Convict again. It has been such a long period of time. Guys, the dust collection on this thing is just embarrassing right now, but I have to admit to it, the truck sat for nearly a month and we are finally rolling on some wheels and tires. Plus, boys, we have quite the convenient turn radius, which just solidifies the decision of going down to these 37-13-5s. Wait until you see this thing. I think it looks awesome, and those ridge grapplers complement this F450 oh so good. And I might be slightly biased, because the first set of wheels and tires that were aftermarket on this truck had ridge grapplers, and they kind of just fit it like a glove. It's really crazy to compare the difference between the Carly 2.5-inch leveling setup on Sarge versus the 4-inch PMF full coilover conversion with King shock setup on Convict. They both ride extremely well, far, far better than stock, without a question of a doubt.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow. Turn me up a little more. I'm setting traps, I'm alone. You know you whack, I'm a maniac. Boy, you know I'm black to the bone. Pick a place, pick a date. I go cool, pick a low. Thought you was good.
Oh my God, guys, I had to let the sun die down a little bit. It's just about to set over the hill right now, and it is an absolutely perfect evening to just take a minute to welcome Convict back to the fleet. I cannot believe this truck sat for the last month. It's been somewhat debilitating, and you guys might ask, like, how is that the case? But this is very much my daily driver. I depend on this thing every single day. So when we had the wheel issue, it was very much an inconvenience. But I have to say thank you so much to JTX Forge for being enthusiasts and honestly having the best customer service that I've ever dealt with for any forged wheel manufacturer, or really wheel manufacturer direct, not through like a retailer or a wholesaler, out of the entire industry and all of my experience. These guys really did do a great job of making things right for the kind of combination of sorts of my impatience and then their tolerance adjustments that they needed to make on their hubs. I think this really says a lot about a company and the fact that, you know, companies are run by people and people make mistakes, and sometimes you need to realize that companies also make mistakes and people immediately blame the company, but the people at the end of the day need to be the defining factor of said company, and the people over at JTX Forge are what made all of this getting us back on the road possible. So thank you guys so much. Here it is, guys. Two big problems with Convict right now. One, he's absolutely filthy, like really, really filthy. We collected basically an entire season of dust and debris as this thing just sat like right here. And believe me when I say dust, like lots of dust. I have a construction zone that we live in right now, which is gonna be a shop soon, which I'm so excited about. And then two, we are still missing the bumper fender flare extension right here. You know, the one that I ripped off with a 38s because I couldn't actually fit 38s on this truck. Yeah, there's that. But the JTX Forge wheels are back on. They're looking amazing. They are so aggressive with these massive threaded spikes and these big old forged center caps. Plus, these ridge grapplers just fit an F450 like a glove. They are perfect. They are meant to be. It's a match made in heaven, which is why I put them back on this truck when they originally came off of this truck that are now on this truck with the same wheels that were on this truck, except now they're black. And they look so good on that truck. It's just a match made in heaven. You can say Sarge and Convict are two peas in a pod. One is supposed to keep the other one in line, but tends to just wander and do his own thing, knowing that he's gonna go somewhere else in the near future. I don't blame him. He's a party animal. And Convict over here, yeah, somewhat of a troublemaker, but we love him, and he looks so unbelievably good. So let's just recap, guys. This is a 24x12 super single. Some people refer to super singles on dualies as converting the rear from the duals to singles, and I guess that too is a reference, like a real big single. In my opinion, it looks garbage. Like, it looks really, really bad. It's just my opinion. Some people might like it. I'm just sharing my opinion on YouTube. And then up front here, we have the 24x12, which is what I'm calling kind of the super single in retrospect to what is the traditional dually setup. Now, you guys need to comment below right now if you had to pick the keys for one of these indefinitely, forever. I mean, you might be taking the keys for that home, but I'm just saying, if you had to pick them right now, would it be Sarge or would it be Convict on the setup? Not so much the exterior, but the setup. Go traditional dually with the 31570s, or would you go the super singles with the 3713.5s? Now, 4-inch lift, 2.5-inch level, PMF suspension with the coilover conversion and dual king shocks, Carly suspension, leveled coil spring, Fox shocks with reservoirs. Both setups ride equally fantastic. The improvement over stock with either one of these setups is dramatically noticeable when you're behind the wheel piloting these things down the road, trying to play a little bit of surgical operation, bring yourself back as a kid, because it's impossible to keep these fat old booties right here behind the lines. And for that, as I sit here in the driveway, I'd say if I didn't have a very large stone driveway, this would be too much booty to handle. I'm just saying. But it's definitely not a bad problem to have. Now, this time around, JTX did provide us with 2 spacers in the rear, so rather than just 1 1/4-inch spacer that went between each one of these dualies, there's actually 2. Now we have a 1/2-inch space that actually gives us a little bit more clearance, and it kind of somewhat gives us a little bit more symmetry between the rear dually and the front dually. And boy, oh boy, when I say these things are massively thick in the back, they're massively thick. Like, just look at that. Just look at that. Oh my God, guys, I could stand here all night. I think I might have to just end this video now, because this view on borrowed time is never, ever, ever going to get old. But in all seriousness, can we just take a minute to appreciate how good Convict looks? That super single up front complements that Mashet dually dish in the back oh so well. And the body lines of the F450 are just gorgeous with those big molded dually fender flares in the rear, and then that iconic F450 dually over fender up front. It looks unbelievable. I'm looking in the screen that's right back here. I typically try to look at you guys here because it's rude not to make eye contact when being talked to, but I'm gonna look over here just for the time being in my screen, because look at that thing. It is just such a land yacht. I'm in love. I'm so in love, and it feels so good to have this truck back, to say the least. So this has been quite the eventful vlog. Drop some comments below, guys. What do you think about the change to these tires on this truck? Do you give it a thumbs up? Do you give it a thumbs down? Do you disapprove? What would you do different? Drop some comments below. I love your feedback, and I take a lot of your feedback into account when we're making decisions for the builds on this YouTube channel, because I think at the end of the day, yes, you're watching me do it, but it's an extension of everything that you guys want to see and sharing this collectively together. And I'm so freaking thankful for every single one of you guys that support this channel. And as a final takeaway, what's your final decision? Is it Convict on the super singles, or is it Sarge on the 24-inch American Force wheels? And then truly think about it. This could be a decision that circles back for you, because that truck and a big old fat pile of cash could end up in your driveway, just like it is in mine right now. So with that being said, guys, I got some seriously important business to attend to. It's right in front of me. It's this absolutely adorable little doggy that looks like he needs a bunch of pets and rubs, right, Ozzy? What's up, man? For those of you that don't know Ozzy, he is my best buddy. Otto's with mommy right now on the back porch hanging out, but Ozzy is always with daddy. And man, I love him so much. He is the greatest little companion. He follows me everywhere, and although we have this huge property and Ozzy really doesn't have any formal training, he just hangs with daddy all the time, and it is the best. He's always kind of somewhat lingering within 20 to 25 foot, and he is such a good boy. I love him so much. I'm very much a dog enthusiast myself, my friends. So that being said, guys, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. Like the video if you love these pets. We'll see you guys in the next upload.